Hello, this is Renita from the Be Your Own Kind platform. Is it at the Be Your Own Kind platform? I don't know. But this is the 2 cent, my 2 cent live. Basically in this live, this is stuff that I've seen that, I don't know, I think like it's worth talking about. And I want to give my 2 cents on it. So because I go live on Friday, I thought it would be a good idea to premiere the show so I can actually, engage in the comments instead of trying to navigate the whole show like I do on a Friday. Thanks to my cousin, she introduced me to a platform where I can premiere it everywhere, and so I can try to comment on whatever platform that I decide to be on. I guess it still would be multitasking if I try to be on more than one platform, huh? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I'm excited to be back, on live and just talking and randomness. I just love randomness. So anyway, what we're talking about today that's random is the almighty bonnet. So, you probably heard by now, last week, Monique gave a public service announcement about, she went to the airport and she saw so many women in bonnets, and that we need to, us Black women need to take better care of ourselves. And if we say that we're queens, we need to look like queens. And I have my opinion on the bonnet, but I want to watch the video and then keep pausing it and giving my opinion, because that's what I do. But I will say that growing up, my grandmother didn't play that. My grandmother, my mom, my godmother, they didn't play that. Like, my grandmother would always be like, you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to come across. Even if you're going to the grocery store, you need to look like halfway decent. There was no going out in lounge pants. There was no bonnet, nothing like that. And people make fun of me because I dress up to go nowhere. Like, I'm fully dressed. Like, even like to go for a walk, I put little earrings on with jogging pants sometimes, because that's kind of how I was raised up. But maybe that's just not this generation, like maybe it's a different dynamic because it's a different generation. And yeah, we should be entitled to wear what we wear, but I understand what Monique was saying as well. But let's just get into what she said. So, because I mess around and talk this whole time. So let me share the screen here. And they're calling her Auntie Monique, so we're going to call her Auntie Monique because I love Monique. I simply love Monique. Okay, so let's get into it. This is brought to you by Mag TV on YouTube.
Public service announcement about wearing bonnets,
headscarves,
and pajamas in public.
Hey, my sweet babies. So, it took me a minute to say what I'm getting ready to say, because I want to make sure I'm not saying it in judgment. And I want to make sure I'm saying it from a place of love.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Y'all, some of y'all have given me the title of punk.
And not to be petty, but isn't she in public with a robe on? Never mind. I digress. Be your own kind.
And I'm honored that y'all do that, right? But there are times where Auntie gotta talk to her babies and say some real. So, yesterday, I was in the airport in Atlanta because I'm in Jackson, Mississippi now at Chuckles Comedy Club, right? And we got 3 shows tonight. We got a matinee at 5, 7, then we got 10, right? And I'm excited. I always love going to the stage. So when we got to the airport yesterday, I was excited, like, all right, baby, let's go get him in Jackson, Mississippi. And as we began to walk through the airport, I saw so many, actually too many to count and too many for me to tap. But I saw so many of our young sisters in head bonnets, scarves, slippers, pajamas, blankets wrapped around them, and this is how they're showing up to the airport. And
no, I'm not gonna lie. Going to the airport in heels is probably not a great idea. It is best when you're on the airport, you gotta walk like miles and miles, at least in my opinion. And especially if it's an early flight, you just put on some lounge wear, probably keep the bonnet on and keep your hair in place, depending on the hairstyle or whatever. And you're just going to lounge. And then when you get where you get, then you get, all dolled up, all dressed up. So a lot of people were saying, well, you're at the airport, what do you need to, to dress up for? So I kind of saw that too. And I see what she said, she hasn't really said it yet, but I can see why she's appalled by that, because it's her generation. You just don't go outside like that. Back in the day, women wore like elbow length gloves and hats and just suits, and attire has changed. Like dressing up has changed. People go to the store, without getting fully dressed just for them to come back home. That's what I'm just saying. The dynamics is different. But I'll shut up. Here we go.
I've been seeing it, not just at the airport. I've been seeing it at the store, at the mall. I've been seeing sisters showing up with these bonnets and headscarves and these slippers. And the question that I'm having to you, my sweet babies, when did we lose pride in representing ourselves? When did we step away of, let me make sure I'm presentable when I leave my home? Let me make sure I'm representing the family I created, so that if I'm out in the street, I look like I have pride in myself. And I'm not saying no full face of makeup. I'm not saying no full front lace frontal. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm saying is, could you please comb your hair? And if you don't want to comb your hair, they got enough out here now, baby, where you can style yourself up and look like you have pride. I'm not saying you don't have pride, but the representation that you're showing, someone would have to ask you to know that you had it.
And I get what she's saying, because first impression is a very important impression. And once again, you never know who you're going to meet, and especially in the airport, because there's so many celebrities or people with some type of austerity. They're in the airport. You never know who you're going to run into in the airport. So just taking like the regular errand neighborhood type situation out, and just like focusing on what she's saying about the airport or being out in public, just maybe, fixing yourself up just a little bit. And I think a lot of people thought that she was coming off as judgmental, because she was saying things like, it doesn't mean that you don't have pride, but someone will have to ask you if you have pride. And a lot of people feel like it's not that deep, but it could be that deep depending on who you run into. You know what I'm saying? I think that what she's saying is like a taught behavior. Once again, I am like that because of how I was raised, but everyone wasn't taught that. So I'm also a believer of meeting people where they're at. And I feel like this wasn't like a message of condemnation. This was like a message like to educate, for people that don't know the importance of first impression and blah blah blah. Like this is not how you are supposed to, present yourself. And like I said, I resonated with this because this is how I was raised, but everyone wasn't raised like that. And most people are just thinking, hey, I'm at the airport, I'm not going to run into anybody, I'm finna get on this plane, I'm finna lay down, I'm gonna keep my hair wrapped up so I don't mess my hair up while I'm sleeping on the plane. I see the thought pattern in that, but I also understand what she's saying. Let's keep going.
So my sweet babies, for the ones that do call me auntie, I love you for real. Even the ones that don't, I love y'all too. But the babies that say auntie to me, please listen to auntie. Always have pride in your representation of you. It's not to get a man. It is just your representation of you, my sweet babies. So I'm just giving y'all a warning. If I see you in the streets, in the airport, in the Walmart, and you got a bonnet on, and you got slippers on, and you looking like what the, Nikki gonna tap you and say, hey, baby girl, show you what you worth. Show you what you deserve. So all of those posts that you see celebrities putting out there saying, hey, queen, hey, queen, hey, queen, well, can we start putting it into action? So I'm asking our wiser sisters, when we see our little babies out there looking like they just don't care, and I'm not saying y'all don't, it looks like it. Can we just tap them and say, baby girl, you deserve more than what you're showing? Represent you with pride, my babies. And that may be a part of us helping our community. Because if you look like you don't give, how you gonna be treated?
And I totally agree with that. Like I just said, everybody wasn't taught like that. So if you see someone, like, here's the approach though, like, because the approach can come out is judgmental, especially to a person that may, like, what do they call it? I'm not good with the slang. Slap the face or beat the face up or whatever. Like, most people probably walk out looking like Instagram models, but they're just running to the store right quick, or they're just getting on the plane so they can get to their destination so they can, like, look their best or whatever, and I don't think it's applying to that person, but here's the thing. How do you know what type of person it is if you're just meeting them on the street? If this is your first encounter in the airport, I can see if you're in the neighborhood and what she said about the community, and you always see the same person and she always wearing a bonnet, no matter what time it is, and maybe you have a rapport with her, you can pull her to the side and say, hey, babe, when you outside, maybe, put your hair in a ponytail or something. Representation is everything. But the point of going to a stranger when you don't really know if this is just a time where they're on their way to something, and you don't really know if they're like a pretty person or not, a lot of people say that it can come off as judgmental, and it can. It's all about tone. It's all about intent. It's all about how you preference it. If you just like with the issue with the sagging pants, a lot of people are like, well, if the man could just tell them to pull his pants up, but why can't they just pull their pants? If they around people that don't pull their pants up, then, they won't, they're not going to pull their pants up, but maybe they just don't know to pull their pants up, or maybe that's just how they want to do it, how to wear their pants. So it's like a thin line of, allowing somebody to be themselves, but also educating them, as they grow older. Like when you're reaching, like, college, or you're going into the professional world, unfortunately, appearance is everything. Opportunity is sometimes based on your physical representation, how you speak, body language. You're leaning over like this, you don't look interested, but if you up like this, it looks like you're interested and you want to, grab that opportunity. So as much as we want to say the outside doesn't matter, in certain situations, especially professional ones, career-wise, it's very important. Very important. If I wore a bonnet all the time that I'm on live, some people may look at me sideways, and I will get a lot of texts and phone calls from family members. So, like, are you okay? Because people know that that's just not me. You know what I'm saying? But if it was me, I should be open to someone saying, hey, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't always super dressy. It took a community to say, hey, when you grow older and you get into a certain community, you're gonna have to look this way, have to look that way. You can still be yourself, but there are certain things when you're in a certain setting, there are rules to this. As much as we like to say it's not, there's rules to this, especially for us. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think I'm still over talking Monique, but here we go.
So, when I say, hey, queen, I can only say it to the sisters that it belongs to. Because a lot of us are still in queen training. So if you're in queen training, stop being fearful of taking your position. And queens don't walk around with bonnets and headscarves and slippers and pajamas. That's for the house. When you go outside, represent you, baby, like you are worthy and you deserve the title of Hey Queen. Nikki love y'all for real, and I ain't never gonna BS you. Stop wearing them bonnets and headscarves looking like don't nobody give a about you, nor do you give a about yourself. Because you beautiful. So represent it. I love y'all for real, my babies.
And like I said, I totally understand what she's saying. Like, I totally get what she's saying. But there are other levels to that, because what if she walked into a grocery store and everyone had on like those bodycon shirts and the like, I guess not dressed appropriate for the setting? Does that mean that person don't love themselves, or do they just not know that you don't dress like that in a certain settings? all these rules, we don't know who set these rules, and we don't know what another person is going through. And I feel like she did say this in love. I don't think she said this as judgmental. There are a lot of people her age that hate the bonnets. I'm not even gonna lie, they hate the bonnets. Like, my grandma sees someone outside with her pajamas, no. She gonna talk about it all the way home. Like, it's a generation thing. But my thing is, people don't know better unless you teach them. But you also have to be careful and tread light, because you don't want. I always say you have to be careful how you speak to someone, because you don't know how close to the edge that they are. So sometimes we are responsible for either like pulling a person from the edge or pushing them over. So maybe they can't afford clothes, or you don't know the situation, or maybe they just wasn't taught that. And I feel like she came in love, but a lot of people did not like this message. And I feel like with social media, you can take it or leave it. But right now, in this day and age, social media is like the Bible. Like, is whatever go out there, everybody's going to take it serious. There's going to be people that agree. There's going to be people that don't. And they're going to argue back and forth over it, because that's the dynamics of social media. It's just this public platform. We can say what we want. We can believe what we want. And that's it, and half the people are thinking for themselves, and half that's not. They're just following whoever's saying whatever. So that's just kind of like the dynamics of social media. So I'm segueing into Tami Roman. Like, I have no idea who this lady is, to be honest with you, but apparently she was a co-star on The Parkers with Monique, and they're not like enemies, they're not friends, they're associates, because she says she still, support Monique and all. So she has like a segment, it's called Bonnet something. Like I said, I don't know too much about her, but people were tagging her because she has a segment on her YouTube channel where she's wearing a bonnet. So of course, everybody, I feel like people were stirring things up. Well, she's saying don't wear a bonnet outside, but this lady is not outside. I mean, I know it's to the public eye wearing a bonnet, so I guess technically this would fit what Monique is saying. But I wanted to get into what she said too, if my YouTube would work. So let me refresh it. Okay, let me stop the screen. While I'm trying to figure this out, let's just go to a commercial. Okay, I am still trying to figure this out, so one more commercial. Okay, I found it.
Hey, happy Memorial Day weekend. So, listen, Monique, Auntie Mo, had come out yesterday with a little statement about y'all wearing bonnets out at the airport and in public, and headscarves and stuff like that. And so, quite naturally, with Bonnet Chronicles being one of my brands, y'all tag me. And to that I say this. Monique,
when you talking, I'm be quiet, and when you gone, I'm be talking again. Listen, so here's the thing. Let me give y'all a little backstory. Monique and I, back in the day, were very. I would say we were very, very close. We knew each other's families. She knew my mom. My mom decorated her house. She so graciously put me on her show, The Parkers. We had a very nice, amicable relationship. Today, I don't feel that has changed just because we've gone our separate ways, in terms of she doing her thing, I'm doing mine. But I just actually saw her because I went to support her in Vegas. She had a residency in Vegas at the SLS Hotel. And I went down there to support her and see her do her stand up. To me, the relationship is just like it was when we used to hang, except now we don't hang. I gave y'all the backstory because I don't want anybody to take this and make it seem like I'm coming at Monique, because that's not the case.
I'm glad she did that because people could spin a narrative like she was coming at her. And also, I forgot to add my little follow. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, BYOK platform YouTube channel. Just want to plug. Let's keep going.
I do, however, feel that we are allowed to have a difference of opinion in approach.
Right.
Now, for me personally, I understood everything that she said and actually agree based on my upbringing. Like, my mama didn't play those type of games. Like, you wasn't going, before there was bonnets, there was the sponge rollers. And back in the day in White Plains, Mount Vernon, you would see people walking around with the sponge rollers in their head. And my mother would be like, that's unacceptable. And so I was raised in a way where you don't come out the house looking like that. And even with Bonnet Chronicles, I be in the house. I wears the bonnet to bed. I be in the house. Okay, I walk around in my robe.
And so my question to you is, should she feel like she has to defend the fact that she's wearing a bonnet on something that she entitles like the Bonnet Chronicles? Like, think on that question. Should she even have to explain herself? But that video kind of made her feel like she had to explain herself because of such connotations of, you're a queen in training, having pride and things. And like I said, I know she was saying that out of love, but that also could have spoke to people's insecurities as well, even though that wasn't her intent. I do not believe, and I would preface this, I do not believe Monique had any malicious intent. I just think some people took it that way.
In my home, I'm not outside in public like that. The thing that I'm saying is, Monique went on to say in her video that she felt like, have you lost your pride? Where is your pride of self and your dignity coming out of the house like that? And I know there are a lot of people who do feel like that is ghetto, right? For me personally, and that's how I'm going to approach this video that I'm doing, is that for me personally, I don't go out the house like that. When I'm in the airport, now I might not have no full face of makeup, but I got on a nice little unit with a baseball cap, and I'm dressed appropriately for travel. Now, I'm not suited and booted, but I'm also not in slippers and pajamas either. You know what I mean? It's just how I was raised. There is some thought to this conversation where we can't spend our time trying to convince other people of our way of thinking, because some people are just not going to get it. Equally so, you can't want more for somebody than they want for themselves. Equally so, I feel like let people do what they want to do, and I feel like her video came from a place of secondhand embarrassment. She's in the airport. She sees somebody walking through with the furry slippers, the pajama pants, and a bonnet with their blanket, they snuggie, because they're trying to be comfortable on the plane because the seats is tight and they're trying to get any comfortability that they can. And people are looking at this person. This is how I envision it in my mind. I'm not saying this is how it happened. People are looking at this person. The people that may be looking at this person with some type of disgust, annoyance, disdain, might not have been black. Which caused her then to say, or to think, now she know what they already think about us. Why she got to come out the house looking like that? Secondhand embarrassment. Here again, she ain't told me that's what happened.
Now, what do you guys think about that? Do you think it was secondhand embarrassment of our people? Because black women are already labeled, black people as a whole, but in this case, black women are always labeled as being I don't know, quote unquote, ghetto, uncouth, things like that sort. So do you feel like Monique was just like, oh my God, now, and like they're playing into the stereotype? Do you think it was just her thinking of, man, we got to represent ourselves better because we're falling into, whatever society is perpetuating? Like, what do you think about what she's saying?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to think through the situation, and I could be totally wrong, and I'm sure Monique will let me know. But that secondhand embarrassment is what caused her to make the video. And coming from a place of like, have pride in yourself, pride and dignity in yourself with your presentation. Why are you concerned with another person's presentation? Because you were embarrassed at how they were out looking outside, which has nothing to do with you.
But does it have nothing to do with her when she just want, I guess, us as the people to, I guess, quote unquote, have pride for ourselves? And I get what she's saying as an individual. It doesn't have anything to do with her. But on like a community level, it has everything to do with us. Just like with the whole sagging pants thing. Like, I think that older people don't look at it as like individualistic. Like, I think they look at it as, look, I saw 2-3 women with bonnets on in the airport, and this is how we conducting ourselves. Like, they generalize it. And I do agree with her, that could have been the catalyst to the video. That's why I'm saying I don't think there's a wrong or a right. I just think there's a matter of an opinion. And if you do feel like a person should take their bonnet off, it's all of the level of approach. But on the other hand, what Tami is saying, people should be allowed to do what they want to do. So what do you think about that?
So from that standpoint, you got to mind your business. Like, if somebody wants to be out there like that, now do we want it to go like that? No. People in my age bracket, I know for sure, don't want it to be like that. Would we like for people to carry themselves or their presentation differently in public? Of course, because here again, as I said, that's how I was raised. But if they don't want to do that, as long as they are not out here killing, robbing, stealing, shooting up places and all this other stuff, I personally feel like let people rock. And I can't be grouped into a generalization about black people just because this person is out here in a bonnet. Because if they come and talk to me, have a conversation with me, or they look at me, they see that we are not the same. We are not one and the same.
But are we not like grouped together though? Like, I mean, in reality, are we not grouped together? Do we not all act alike? Do we all not look alike? Like, that's for closed-minded people. I'm not saying everyone feel that way, but I mean, I get what she's saying too. But if there's a group of black women in a bonnet, are they gonna have a conversation? So I get what she's saying. Like, don't take a couple of individual, examples and then like generalize it. I totally get it, and then make a video and make everybody feel bad. I think that's basically what Tami is saying.
I'm not going to even disrespect the people who got their bonnet on. if people stop looking at the aesthetic of people and get to know people, just because they got a bonnet on, don't mean they ghetto.
That was my point earlier. You can't judge a book by its cover. If you don't really know that person, you can't just look at them. And unfortunately, we have been taught, there are rules. Like I said, first impression is a big impression. Like we'll see someone and we'll decide if we want to talk to them within a second range based on what they look like, based on how they're talking, based on body language. Like there are so many, like it's more nonverbal than verbal rules, with the whole first impression thing. And she's right, but how many people take out the time to talk to someone and get to know them, or do we just generalize? Do we just generalize just off looking at a person? So this is turning into a good subject.
That they're not educated, that they don't have a college degree, that they don't have a career in a certain field, that they are not articulate. But people are so concerned about what other people think that we end up in conversations like this. And here again, I'm not coming at Monique. I'm saying that we have a right to have a difference of opinion. You and I equally both want people to want more for themselves. You are trying to impart that opinion of yours onto other people who didn't ask for it. I'm coming from a standpoint of, as long as these people is not out here bothering anybody, and that's what they choose to do, and then I, Tami Roman, have got to mind my business, because there's a lot of other things that I need to concern myself with that actually have to do with me. And so if you, sister, want to be out here in the bonnet and the slippers and all that, that's on you. That's on you. I would hope that you would want to elevate your presentation. But if that's not what you want to do, that is on you. And I've got to mind my business. So those are my thoughts, because y'all was tagging me, because as soon as she said bonnet, everybody said, ooh, Tami. And I came on the post and I said, I only wear my bonnet and my robe on the gram, and that's the truth. I don't go outside. I don't run to the gas station. I don't run to the little market. Now, I will say this. My daughter Jazz, if she's up in the house and she said, you know what, I want to go, she loves Slim Jims, right? And she said, I'm just going to run to the gas station to get me a Slim Jim. And she got that bonnet on already. She's going to the Shell gas station in that bonnet. Now, do I want my daughter to not leave the house like that? Absolutely. But she's grown. And if that's how she wants to represent herself, then I've got to mind my business, because that's a grown-ass woman. And that's all I got to say about it. But because she got the bonnet on does not mean that she didn't go to college. Does not mean that she's not articulate. Does not mean that she doesn't have a career. It doesn't mean any of those things, because she does. Y'all watch the mix. Hey, Jazz. Hey, Romeo. Hey, Zanique. Hey.
Okay, I think she's going off subject. But I get what she's saying. So we all know that my platform is be your own kind. There's never not an opportune time to be yourself, is over there in the corner. But when does minding your business go wrong? And, or when does the opposite go wrong? I couldn't think of what I was trying to say, but like, when you see someone that might be falling off a cliff, and this is like beyond bonnets, or you see someone struggling and you've had those struggles in the past, when does minding your business become destructive to the next person? Because look, we all go through experiences to help the next person. That's how I feel. I feel like anything we go through, we are supposed to share with others, especially to prevent them from going through the same tunnels and valleys that we went through. So is it always good to mind our business? In the instance of the bonnet, no, it depends on the individual, but I feel like the older generation, which I feel like I'm kind of part of, because I'm knocking on 40. I'm not a super elder, but I'm getting up there. But I can witness to a teenager or people in their 20s, because I've been there, done that. So would I watch someone younger than me falling a cliff, like, oh, I'm just gonna mind my business. I'm just gonna watch her. Let me go get some popcorn and some pop and just, watch her struggle. I don't think I can do that. Like, and that's why I say sometimes it just depends on tone and the intent behind what you're saying and making sure that you're coming to people in love, And I feel like that's what Monique intended to do, but I also understand what Tami is saying, like something as minute as a bonnet. Did you feel like you had to make that video because you were embarrassed for our people, or when it was really just a couple of individuals, or was what was that for, and I feel it could have been a little bit of both, of her just like educating and saying, hey, people, we got to do better, but on the other hand, what Tami is, sometimes it is best to mind our business, but in my opinion, sometimes it's not. In the case of a bonnet, I don't know, like, I don't know. I feel like if you're at a wedding or a job interview with a bonnet, I will actually walk up to you and be like, no, take that out. But the airport, going to the store, and yes, like I said, I was raised, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when I went natural, I had like a little of a complex, and that's when stating your opinion can go wrong too, because it's a balance to everything, where you give people complexes and you make them more insecure than what they already are. This hairstyle, like, years ago, was considered not combing my hair, you know what I'm saying? And now it's my natural. This is just how I am, take it or leave it, because I'm grown. I'm 38 years old, and if I want to wear my hair natural, I want to wear my hair natural. But it didn't start off like that, because growing up, it was like either your hair is straight or you have it braided, but the uncouth, like, wild stuff like this, no, and so I feel like that's Tami's point in that, you can't judge a book by its cover, and people should be allowed to be individuals. But I also feel when we are in a place to help someone that's younger than us that may not know, I feel like we should use discernment and help that person, so this was a really good conversation. Like, what do you guys think about this? Like, I thought it was just good to see, two point of views from a different spectrum. Like, I just thought this was really cool. And as I said, I'm premiering this, so I had the chance to like cut things out and edit, unlike when you do it on a live and things just go haywire. So I'm really excited about my 2 cents. I have no idea how many I want to do a week. It's just if something comes up and I want to talk about it, I'm definitely, going to do that. But thank you for spending, a couple of minutes with me and talking about this. And don't forget to put your comments, like, leave your opinions in the comments. And whatever platform that, I'm going to eventually make all the platforms that I'm going to be able to, contact you and all. And if you are interested in being a guest on my podcast, I don't think I did that commercial, but I stream the Be Your Own Kind podcast is on every platform. If you're interested in being a guest, I have that link in the description box. I also have the commercial for Lavish by Miss Metchi. Sorry, Lavish by Miss Metchi. You use a code, get I think it's 10 or 20% off. So I'm a little rusty. I don't remember my facts, but everything is going to be in the comments. So until next time, don't forget to be your own kind, and I guess decide where you want to wear your bonnet. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon.